Welcome to Millennial Golf Club. Today's going to be an interesting one. We're going to be doing a little bit of a grip test today. So what we're going to do is go through pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron, 7, basically all with regular grips, and then all with a choked up grip. And the idea is to see how much does choking up on the club affect distance, spin, height, contact, all of these things, to see like, hey, if I have a distance between 9-iron and pitching wedge, can I choke up on the 9-iron, swing full, and maybe take 5 yards off of it? You know, make it so I don't have to do a knockdown shot, or make it so I don't have to go after a pitching wedge really hard. The idea just being, does it make a difference, right? So it's going to be starting off with pitching wedge. These are Ping I-530s. Golf ball is the Bridgestone, oh my goodness, Bridgestone Tour BX. It is the Tiger ball. I think it's also the one that Jason Day uses, but essentially we're going to start off with 5 shots of each. 5 pitching wedges that are regular, 5 pitching wedges that are choked up. And we're gonna see the difference, and if there is any difference, if I hit it better, if I hit it worse, and I'll kind of give feedback as I go. How does that sound? All right, to start us out, just 5 regular pitching wedges. Just plain old things, you know? All right, nice one to start. Yeah, I'd say it was a little thin, typical little draw. Got 118 total, little backspin on it. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty average. Let's go with 4 more of these and try and smooth as much of them as I can. That one may be a little bit left, that's okay. 119 on that one. .116. So not great contact on a couple of these, I will say. I have a tendency to get just a little bit thin on my pitching wedge. That was a good one. 117 carry. And I believe we have 1 more to go. And we saved the purest one for last. All right, for the choke down, I just moved it to the 50-degree location. That way we can see the difference of the things. But I just need to hit 5 shots choked up with the pitching wedge. So the goal being just to choke up maybe like, I don't know, maybe an inch. You know, I would say this is about what I'd like to choke it up at. You know, an inch is different for everybody, you know, depending on what kind of guy you are.
Just say when. Just say, seriously? Are you serious?
So let me go ahead and hit 5 of those. And it's always interesting to me because it feels a little bit like a children's club, but also for me feels like I can really unload on it. .117. Went out to the right a little more than the other ones did. That's interesting. All right. Ooh, that's about as pure as I can hit it choked up. 120, okay. Little bit thin. Honestly, I felt like it was kind of hard for me to fight that off. Lost some spin on that one. So I think that's something you're gonna see when you choke up on it, is like the ability to hit it thin is really, really easy, right? But yeah, let me hit 2 more here. Ooh, I feel like I pured that one. 121, okay. And then one last one choked up. I honestly don't feel like I'm losing a lot with these. And I feel like I thinned that one. 121. So that's an interesting one. I feel like my contact maybe wasn't as good for the first couple of full length grip shots, but I feel like overall, I feel like I really had to go down after the ones where I'm choked up, which makes sense, right? The club is shorter, I have to go down after it more. Kind of played more like a sand wedge would, but let me go ahead and show the breakdown of each of the 5 shots, right? Let me show what 5 of the regular grip and 5 of the choked up grip look like. So as we can see, the regular grip, which we have as the pitching wedge setting here, 118 carry, 8,000 spin, as well as 94-ish ball speed, around 90 feet of height, which I would say is about average for my pitching wedge. But yeah, 118 is kind of the total distance. So I'm curious, when I switch it to the 50 degree, which is what we did with the choked up bit, honestly, about the same numbers. That's interesting to me because I do feel like I got better contact with the gripped down ones. Ball speed, relatively the same. I would say height came down a little bit, which is interesting. I had a couple that I hit up high, but spin came down, height came down. So I think, honestly, for me, with the pitching wedge at very least, about the same distance. But if you want to knock it down in terms of height, and you want to knock it down in terms of spin, so maybe you don't want to spin the ball back as much, or you're trying to flight something down, maybe choking up's the best way to go for that. Let's see what it looks like on the 9-iron, okay? So the 9-iron's an interesting one. It's going to be a little bit longer, obviously. I think the longer clubs I go to, the more the grip up's going to feel good, the choking up on it. There's a reason Tommy Fleetwood does what he does, right? I feel like he chokes up on everything, even up to driver. So let's go ahead and start out with just stock 9-irons and see how that goes. Now that one I can say I hit really good. 138 carry, love it. It's interesting, the gap between pitching wedge and 9-iron for me has been really big lately. So averaging, I would say usually I carry at about 135, so 138 carry is a nice piece, honestly. Maybe not as flushed as the last one. Yeah, that's a little more in my normal zone, which means, you know, maybe I don't catch it perfect every time. That's why I usually see it at 135. Let's catch the next couple. And caught that one definitely heavy. But 131, I'd say the spin probably dropped down a little bit. The I-530's definitely helped me on that one. And then I've got 2 more with the regular 9 wedge. 9 wedge? Woo, 9 wedge, 9-iron. Felt like a pretty good one. Yeah, that one's really good. A little lower speed. Felt like I almost kind of de-lofted it a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if the dynamic loft was a little lower. And let me go ahead and hit one more to kind of make up for that very first one that I hit. That was a little heavy. Nice one. And we're just choking up that kind of that same amount, kind of that 1-inch territory, right? It almost feels honestly kind of like the pitching wedge did. Took some ball speed off for sure. But the contact was really good, so I feel like, you know, 132 carry I'm not mad at on a choked up 9-iron. Let's see how the other 4 go. Ooh, now that was a good one. Hit that one good. Okay. So that's 5 each with the 9-iron, both regular and choked up. Let's see what the results have for us, okay? All right, so regular 9-iron is going to be total carry about 132 yards, 133 yards, and then 135 total, which honestly is right on line for my 9-iron. Around 7,000 spin, 101 ball speed, height, again, around that 90-foot mark. For golf, honestly, especially for irons, you want all of the heights of these irons to be coming through the same window, right? If you see everything at like 85 to 90 feet for all of your irons, that means you're being consistent, right? So yeah, 135 total there, that's not bad. Let's see what the choked down is. Okay, so choked down, we lost, I would say, a couple of yards. Nothing like really, really significant, but 133 or 134 really total. Height came down, which honestly, that's what happened with the pitching wedge as well. So height came down from around 88 to 90, and spin came down. So we noticed the same thing with the 9-iron as the pitching wedge, which honestly, I thought we'd see a bigger drop off in yardage, but what we're really seeing drop off is a little bit of spin and a little bit of height. So interesting things. Obviously, ball speed came down a little bit, but yeah, maybe my attack angle was a little shallower, so that makes sense why it's maybe not as high and maybe not as spinny. But let's see if that carries on into the 8-iron, okay? Okay, so next one is the 8-iron. So far, we've seen pretty consistent change between the 9 and the pitching wedge when it comes to choking up on them. Just a little bit of difference in height and spin. So let's see if that holds true for the 8-iron, especially like the longer they get, the more I love the feel of choking up. Ooh, we're a little bit warmed up. That one was pretty pure. 155 total, 152 carry, right on line for my 8-iron numbers, quite honestly. A little bit low spin. I find that I'm a little bit lower spin when I'm indoors, so not the biggest deal in the world. I like that one. Yeah, a little short. That's okay. That gives us everything for the 8-iron numbers. Let me go ahead and change it up so we can see the choked up ones. This is where I find it to be really, really interesting, because choking up on 8-iron and 7-iron feels so good, because it basically means you're hitting, you know, a 9-iron and a pitching wedge. Ooh, really thin one. That one I'll keep in there, but I'm gonna do 5 extra just have it as an extra. We might remove it, but that was really thin. It was really easy for me to thin that too. Okay. Peered that one. Okay, peered that one. Find it interesting so far. Peered that one. Okay. Okay, that one went up in the air too. Okay. 2 more with the choked up. Oh, lost a bunch of yardage on that one. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, 1 more with the choked up. Okay. And 155. All right, so let's look at the differences between the regular 8-iron and the choked up 8-iron. All right, first regular 8-iron, carry 148, total 153. Honestly, that doesn't shock me. That's about typical 8-iron for me, is in that 150 to 155 range. Spin rate's a little low. I did catch that one that was a little interesting. So 5,600, height around 90 feet. I'm curious to see if choking up lowers the height and lowers the spin. So 5,600 and 90 feet. Let's see what the choked up one does. Okay, So this one's interesting. So distance down a tiny bit, down a couple of yards, which it kind of has been consistent for us, right? Distance down a little bit. Spin rate was actually pretty consistent with this. That could have been me with not perfect contact here and there, but averaged out, spin's about the same, and height's down. So I think more and more we're seeing with all of these, if you want to flight your irons down, choke up on it. And it's something that you're definitely gonna have to get a feel for, because you've seen me, I've thinned a couple, I chunked one, all of that good stuff. But honestly, I'm really only seeing changes in spin and height, and maybe a yard or two difference in total distance. But let's see if that holds true for the longest one of this test into the 7-iron. Let me go ahead and grab that, okay? All right, so last one is gonna be the 7-iron. Obviously it's I-530, so it's a little bit loft jacked, let's be honest. I'm curious to see what my spin looks like after seeing how low the spin was with the 8-iron. But let's start off with let's start off with 5 regular 7-irons, okay? I felt like I hooded that one a little bit. I sure did. Little low spinner for us. 172 total, 162 carry. I would say perfect 7-iron for me is like up a little higher than that, and maybe 165 yards or so. Let me see if I can get them a little better here. And I feel like with the full grip like this, I have to stand taller. Okay, this is a little more in my normal range. Spin's definitely low, which is interesting. I do see that indoors because I'm not a super high speed player, and seeing like 77 miles an hour of speed on a 7-iron is not what I'm looking for. So let me just see if I can hit a couple of these a little better. That was much better. 79 club head speed, more like 5,000 spin. 5,000 spin is about what I'm going for when it comes to this 7-iron. That means it's gonna be like 5,500 or so outside, which is more than enough on any Pacific Northwest green. I'm up here in Seattle. So anything that's 5,000 indoors is gonna be 5,500 outside, and stop just fine for me on these greens, right? Let's get 2 more. Ooh, we're pure in some of these. A little more draw to it. Okay, a little deeper, I like it. I don't want to see my 7-iron go 176 yards, but I'm flushing it. I'm flushing it. Flush that one too. Yeah, 165. Club head speed's kind of low, which is interesting. On the good ones, I'm seeing it get back into that window that I like, that 85 to 90 foot window. But let's see what the choked up looks like. Okay, let me hit some 7-irons choked up. And honestly, this is where the fun kind of starts for me, because choking up on longer irons is so much more fun. Yeah, I love the feel of that. I really love the feel of that. But the height does go down. I feel like every one of these, when we choke up, the height does go down. So let's keep that up. Yep, right in that 111 ball speed window. Consistent, I have to say. With like the 7 and the 8-irons choking up, I feel like I can be really consistent. I'd love to choke up on a 7-iron every time, but God knows I'll probably lose some distance. But so far, I've been good. A little bit thinner, a little bit out to the right, a little shorter. Okay. And then we got one more with this club. Honestly, one more shot in general. Let's make it count. Ooh, finish with a thin one. All right, so Is that 5 or is that 4? Oh, I think I got one more. I lied to you. Maybe we don't finish on a thin one. Okay, let's pure one. Ooh, I smoked that one. Yeah, I smoked that one. Finish with a great shot. That's a much better way to finish. Let's look at the totals for both the 7-iron and the choked up 7-iron, okay? All right, regular 7-iron, carry 163 yards, total 172. I'll say in reality, that's probably more like 168. Ball speed 114. Height at 83, maybe a little lower than the rest of my normal window. I definitely see those couple that arc really, really high. That's what I'm looking for, is those perfect high arcing ones, right? A little more spin, a little more height to them. But all in all, like, really, really good. Let's see what the choked up looks like by comparison. Okay, so in this one, definitely a drop in distance. I would say about 5 yards drop in distance. Carry down maybe 3 or 4 yards. Spin relatively the same window. Height down a tiny bit. But honestly, I hit a couple of those really high up in the air. So I feel like the longer the club is, the less that choke up really affects the height. But everything from wedge to 9 to 8, all really, really made a difference in height when it came to choking up. So I think that's what we can take away from this as a whole, is if you're looking to take down spin, you're looking to take down carry a tiny bit, and specifically looking to take down height if it's a windy day, choke up on the club. It's something to play around with. It may not be perfect for you. It definitely affects the attack angle, definitely gets yourself shallower. So if it's a really wet, muddy day, we get a lot of those in the Pacific Northwest, obviously. Maybe choke up a little, you can go down after it and maybe not be so steep, but all in all, really cool test. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm curious to see what you guys want to see for future videos. Also, like, what do you think about choking up on the club? Obviously, Tommy Fleetwood does it, so some pro is making it work, right? But let me know what you all think. But thanks so much for coming into the Millennial Golf Club. Really appreciate you, and I will see you next time.